Drink it, loser. Fluorescent lights hum overhead as I sit hunched at a corner table in the bustling high school cafeteria. I keep my head down, eyes fixed on the unappetizing sandwich on my tray, trying to remain invisible. The din of hundreds of students laughing and chatting bounces off the cinderblock walls, but none of those voices are directed at me. I prefer it that way. Better to be ignored than noticed. For me, being noticed usually leads to trouble. My fingers tremble slightly as I peel the crust off my bread, appetite long gone. Nearby, groups of students shove and joke with each other. Cheerleaders squeal with laughter at something. The greasy scent of pizza and fries hangs in the air, mixed with a sour hint of spilled milk. I swallow the knot in my throat. Just a normal lunch, 15 more minutes to endure, then I can escape to the library. I glance furtively up through my bangs. At a table near the center of the cafeteria sits Brett and his crew. Instantly, my stomach twists. Brett Henson, the king of this concrete jungle. He's a senior, a football linebacker with broad shoulders and a loud voice that dominates any room. His Letterman jacket is draped over his chair like a cape. Flanking him are his ever-present buddies, including Zach, a wiry boy with a perpetual smirk, and a couple of other guys from the team. They're laughing about something, trading jabs and slaps on the back. Every few moments, Brett's eyes scan the cafeteria as if surveying his kingdom. I duck my head lower and pray he doesn't notice me. I wasn't always his favorite target. One awkward moment last year put me on Brett's radar, and he's been tormenting me ever since. Shoves in the hall, cruel nicknames, constant intimidation. Enough to keep me on edge every day. I take a sip of water from my plastic cup and sneak another look across the room. Brett is whispering to Zach now, glancing in my direction. My heart lurches and I immediately drop my gaze to my tray. Just ignore them, I chant silently. They'll leave you alone if you don't react. Today, I came close to sitting in the bathroom stall for lunch, my usual refuge on bad days, but Ms. Hollis, the hall monitor, caught me loitering in the corridor and ushered me in here. So here I am, exposed. A sudden hush falls over some of the nearby tables. I sense movement behind me. A prickle runs up my neck. Before I can even turn, a heavy hand claps down on my shoulder. I stiffen, my breath catching in my chest. Hey, Alex, a low voice drawls right behind my ear. The voice drips with fake friendliness. What you eating all by your lonesome? It's Brett. I force myself to look up. He looms over me, tall and imposing, his athletic frame blocking the harsh cafeteria light. Up close, I can see the faint bruise on his jaw from last week's game and smell the sharp mix of sweat and cheap cologne. My mouth goes dry. Just a S sandwich, I manage to stammer. I curse myself internally for the stutter slipping out. My voice sounds pitifully small. Brett grins, flashing perfect teeth. Just a sandwich? That's no good. A growing boy like you needs his milk. His tone is syrupy sweet, mocking. I notice then that Zach has come up on the other side of me, boxing me in on the bench. He picks up the carton of milk on my tray, the one I hadn't opened. Yeah, Alex, Zach chimes in with a nasty grin. Milk does a body good. Don't you want to grow up big and strong? A few of the surrounding tables have gone quiet, heads turning our way. I feel heat creeping up my neck. This is bad. I need to defuse it, quickly. You can have it, I say, trying to keep my voice steady. I reach for the milk carton in Zach's hand, intending to just surrender it and hope that satisfies them. I am not thirsty. Brett's hand tightens on my shoulder, pinning me in place. Now hold on, he says. Alex here is offering us his milk. That's so polite. His eyes glitter with excitement, a predator toying with prey. Zach snickers and holds the carton just out of my reach. Nah, man, we can't take his milk. What if poor Alex gets thirsty later? My pulse is thundering in my ears. I know better than to try to stand up while Brett's hand is holding me down, but panic is building in my chest. Laughter ripples around us. Some of the other students are watching, eager for a show. My cheeks burn with shame and fear. Please, I start to say, not even sure what I'm pleading for. For them to leave? To not do this here? My eyes flick towards the front of the cafeteria where a teacher usually supervises lunch. Coach Harris is there today, but he's busy trying to break up a cluster of freshmen roughhousing by the soda machine. No help coming. Brett releases my shoulder only to plop himself down on the bench directly next to me. He drapes an arm around me as if we're pals. I shrink inward. My body is rigid, every muscle tense to bolt, but I'm trapped between Brett and Zach. You look nervous, Alex, Brett says, his voice dropping to a purr that only I can hear over the ambient cafeteria noise. Relax. We just want to make sure you're getting enough nutrition. Zach chuckles and gives the milk carton a little shake. I can hear the liquid sloshing inside. I'm fine. Really, I mutter. My eyes sting. I refuse to cry in front of them. You guys can just take it. It's okay. Brett feigns a pout. Ah, offering your milk to us? But you need to grow muscles. Like this. With that, he lifts his arm and flexes comically. A few people at nearby tables laugh. My face flames hotter. Maybe that's why he's so scrawny, Zach says. Doesn't drink his milk. They're egging each other on, voices loud enough for others to catch every word. I see at least a dozen faces turned toward us now, some amused, some uneasy. A knot of shame tightens in my gut. I want nothing more than to vanish. Brett leans forward and picks up half of my sandwich from the tray. He sniffs it theatrically. Tuna? EW. He drops it back onto the tray, where it lands with a wet splat, the top bread sliding off. Come on, Alex, this is gross. No wonder you're not eating. Anger flickers under my skin, just a spark beneath the fear. I actually like tuna. I spent my morning making that sandwich since I don't trust the cafeteria food, but I bite my tongue. Any retort will only encourage them. Brett nudges me with his elbow, a gesture that might seem playful to an outsider, but I feel the latent force behind it. Tell you what, why don't we help you out with that milk, huh? I tense even more. There's a cold, queasy feeling in my stomach now. Help me out. Before I can fully process, Brett snatches the milk carton back from Zach. Bottoms up, Alex. Brett suddenly shouts, and in one swift motion, he tilts the carton and dumps its contents over my head. The world stops for a split second. The milk is ice cold and hits me like a shock, first on my hair and face, then cascading down my neck, soaking into my shirt. I gasp, more out of surprise than pain, as the liquid slithers under my collar. My eyes squeeze shut instinctively as milk streams down my forehead. It happens so fast my brain barely catches up. Laughter explodes around us. Not just a few snickers, full-throated howls from the nearby tables. I hear someone whoop and another yell, "Oh, damn." Heat scalds my face. I'm drenched in cold milk, sitting there stunned, heart hammering. The white liquid drips off my hair onto the table, onto my tray, onto my lap. My mind blanks out in humiliation. It's like I'm dissociating, watching from above as Brett and Zach howl with laughter at what they've done. I taste milk on my lips, some got in my mouth when I gasped. It's slightly sweet and chalky, the flavor turning my stomach when combined with the bile of shame rising in my throat. Yo, you got him so good. Zach crows, slapping the table. He's like a freaking cereal bowl. More laughter tears through the crowd that's gathering. I'm vaguely aware of figures standing up to get a better view. I finally blink my eyes open, milk stinging them. Everything is a blur of cafeteria colors and gleeful faces. A droplet hangs from my eyelashes. I wipe it away with a shaky hand. My entire body feels paralyzed, except for the trembling. Brett stands and yanks me up by the collar of my sodden shirt. You enjoying your drink, Alex? He sneers inches from my face. His blue eyes are alight with triumph and cruelty. I open my mouth, but no words come. He shifts his grip from my collar to the back of my neck, firm and controlling. I freeze as he forces me to bend forward over the table. Milk is puddled everywhere, on the tabletop, dripping onto the floor. If you like that, why don't you have some more? Brett jeers. My senses return in a panic. He's trying to shove me face first into the mess. I plant my hands on the table, desperate to resist as my upper body is pressed down. My palms splash into spilt milk and tuna filling. The stink of dairy and fish fills my nose, nausea swirling in my gut. Brett leans close to my ear and growls, so only I can hear, "Drink it, loser." A collective gasp and cackle erupts from our audience as he says it. My ears roar with my heartbeat and the blood rushing to my face. The sheer degradation of his command and the laughter around me makes something inside me splinter. Hot tears prick at the corners of my eyes, threatening to spill. The cafeteria floor, streaked with white milk and bits of food, is inches from my face. I feel his strength pinning me, and I feel utterly helpless. For a second, I think I might actually black out from the humiliation. One of my knees buckles and hits the hard tile. I twist my head to the side at the last moment, refusing to let my face smear into the filthy, milk-slick table. My cheek grazes the edge of the bench as I turn, and pain flares along my cheekbone. Brett's grip on my neck relents slightly, maybe because I'm halfway to kneeling now. My vision blurs with tears I can't hold back. Laughter rings in my ears, but it sounds distant and distorted, like I'm underwater. Coach Harris's booming voice suddenly cuts through the chaos, making Brett jerk away from me. What on earth is going on here? Immediately, Brett releases me. I slump to the floor, catching myself on my hands. Milk drips from my hair onto the tile and fat drops. I'm gasping, face burning, trying to pull myself together. Coach Harris strides over, face flushed with anger. He takes one look at my drenched, trembling form, and his expression darkens dangerously. Principal's office. Now, he snaps at Brett and Zach, pointing toward the exit. It was an accident. Brett starts to sputter, but Coach isn't having it. The two bullies shuffle off, shooting me glares as they go. They're met with silence. The whole room is still watching in stunned quiet. As the crowd of gawking students finally begins to disperse under Coach's scowl, I manage to get to my feet. My legs are shaky and the front of my jeans is soaked where the milk flowed down, every step making a squishy reminder of how drenched I am. A girl from a nearby table approaches hesitantly and presses a handful of napkins into my hand. Here, she whispers. I mumble a faint, thanks, not meeting her eyes, and dab futilely at my face and shirt. My hands are shaking so badly I can hardly hold the napkins. Coach Harris softens his tone as he turns back to me. Alex, you all right? Do you need to see the nurse or go home? I'm fine, I lie, voice barely above a whisper. I just want out of here. He nods and scribbles a hall pass. Go get cleaned up. Clutching my backpack, I flee the cafeteria with my head down. As I push through the doors, I hear the buzz of voices surge behind me, everyone rehashing my humiliation. My vision blurs with tears as I half run down the hall, desperate to reach the bathroom before anyone else sees me like this. The boys' bathroom is empty when I stumble in. I drop my backpack on the floor and grip the edges of the sink, staring at myself in the mirror. A bedraggled ghost stares back, dark hair plastered to my skull, droplets of white liquid still clinging to the strands. My face is blotchy red, eyes bloodshot. A smear of tuna and milk streaks my shirt collar. I look exactly how I feel, wrecked. My breath comes in ragged gasps that echo against the tiled walls. I turn the faucet on full blast and scrub my hands and face furiously, as if I can wash away the humiliation etched into my skin. Cold water splashes everywhere, but I don't care. A strangled sob forces its way out of my throat before I can choke it down. How could this happen? Why me? The unspoken questions swirl as tears mix with the tap water in the sink. I squeeze my eyes shut, and against my will the scene replays in awful clarity. Drink it, loser echoes in my head on repeat. A whimper escapes me and I clutch the sink until my knuckles go white. After a few minutes of shaking and sobbing, I manage to pull myself together just enough to think. I can't fall apart here. I need to get out. My clothes are soaked and sticky, and the sour odor of milk is making me gag. I grab a wad of paper towels and blot at my shirt and hair, but it's useless. My t-shirt is plastered to my skin, and milk is even in the waistband of my jeans. Another wave of mortification floods me. How am I supposed to walk into class like this? Everyone will know. The bathroom door creaks open. I flinch, hastily wiping my face one last time. It's the school nurse, Mr. Thompson. He steps in and gives me a sympathetic, sad look. 10 minutes later, I'm trudging out of the school's front office in a baggy gray lost and found t-shirt and gym shorts. My milk-soaked clothes are stuffed in a plastic bag. Mom came to pick me up early. She practically sprinted into the office when she heard I'd been bullied. Now she's escorting me to the car, one arm protectively around my shoulder. I haven't said much. What is there to say? I feel hollowed out. Mom's been talking softly, outraged and comforting by turns, but I only catch snippets, will not tolerate. Those boys, you're safe now. In the car, she finally asks the question I've been dreading. Honey, why didn't you tell me it was this bad? I swallow hard and stare out the window. I don't know. I mumble. My throat aches from crying. She sighs, her voice thick. I'm so sorry, Alex. I promise you, they will face consequences. I'm going to make sure of it. I should feel relieved, maybe even grateful. But all I feel is humiliation and a simmering anger I don't fully understand. Being a victim, being pitted, it's suffocating. At home, I stand under a scalding shower until my skin is raw. I let the sobs come, hard and ugly, muffled by the rush of water. I feel utterly broken. When I have no tears left, I collapse into bed and pull the covers over my head, wishing I could disappear. Sometime in the evening, I'm jolted awake by my phone buzzing on the nightstand. In the darkness of my room, I squint at the screen. Dozens of new messages in the class group chat. My stomach twists. With trembling fingers, I open it. They've posted a video of my humiliation. Grainy footage from lunch shows Brett dumping milk on me, shows him forcing me down as laughter erupts. Drink it, loser. Blast from my phone speaker. I slam the phone face down, heart pounding. It's not just a memory now. It's out there for everyone to replay. My breath shudders. A fierce mix of despair and anger wells up inside me, almost choking me. I pace in the darkness, hands tugging at my hair. My mind is a storm. I can't go back there. I can't face them. A dangerous thought flits through my mind. What if I just didn't exist anymore? I squeeze my eyes shut and force it away. No, I won't let them break me that far. Instead, another thought rises, cold, clear, and blazing hot. I can't take it anymore. No more begging for mercy, no more silently suffering. If the school can't or won't protect me, maybe I have to take matters into my own hands. Make them pay. I stop in my tracks, that idea reverberating through me. Make them hurt like I hurt. A spark of something like power crackles in my chest. I collapse back onto my bed, breathing hard. In my mind, I see Brett's smug face again. My fingernails bite into my palms. I imagine flipping the script, Brett on his knees in front of everyone, drenched and humiliated. The image is grotesque and thrilling at the same time. They deserve it. Brett, Zach, all of them who laughed, they deserve to feel what I felt. To be small and scared and alone. Is it even possible? A voice of caution whispers that fighting back could just make things worse. That I'll get in trouble, or they'll retaliate even more brutally. That voice has kept me quiet for months. But look where being quiet got me. They're not stopping. They're escalating. I sit up and turn on my lamp. My eyes land on the plastic bag with my ruined clothes, tossed on a chair. I fish out my milk-stained shirt and hold it in my hands. It's stiff where the milk dried, reeking sourly. This shirt is evidence of what they did, and of what I can't allow to happen again. I could throw it out and try to forget, but I don't want to forget. I need the reminder to fuel me. I know what I have to do. Brett used milk to humiliate me. Fine. Milk will be my weapon too, but on my terms. I remember Mom complaining about a gallon of milk that went bad in our garage fridge. It's probably still there, full of foul, spoiled liquid. A slow, grim smile forms on my lips. If being soaked in fresh milk was bad, being doused in rotten, clumpy milk will be far worse. The stench alone will cling to him for days. My heart slams in my chest as I flesh out the plan. It's risky, and I'll only get one shot. But if it works, I might finally see fear in his eyes. I'll do it at lunch, in front of everyone, just like he did to me. I'll catch him by surprise. He'll never expect quiet Alex to strike back. And I'll make sure his own words come back to haunt him. With each detail I think through, a bit more of my fear burns away, replaced by determination. I know I might get in trouble. I know Brett might try to pound me afterward. But I also know I can't go on like before. I stuff the nasty shirt back in the bag and set it aside. Lying back on my bed, I let out a long breath. For the first time since this nightmare began, I don't feel powerless. I have a plan. In the darkness, I whisper to myself, no more. I won't be their victim ever again. Whatever happens next, at least I'll go down fighting. With that promise firm in my mind, I finally drift into a deep, exhausted sleep. My last thoughts replaying the imagined look of shock on Brett's face. Friday comes, and with it the moment of truth. My nerves are on fire all morning. By lunchtime, my hands are shaking, but not with fear this time, with anticipation. The spoiled milk is tucked securely in my backpack, inside an old thermos I found. No way I'm carrying a sloshing gallon jug around. I can practically feel its foul presence as I walk into the cafeteria. The room looks the same as always, bright lights, loud tables, the smell of nachos today, but I'm seeing it with new eyes. Every clatter of a tray, every burst of laughter makes my heart thump. I scan the sea of students, and they're there, Brett and his crew, back at their usual table in the center like they own the place. Brett is laughing at something, seemingly without a care. He doesn't even glance my way as I slip in. Maybe he thinks I'd be hiding in the library or eating in a bathroom stall after what happened. Maybe he thinks I'm too scared to show my face. He's wrong. I sit down at a table on the periphery, not far from theirs. I force myself to nibble a piece of bread, fuel for courage, while keeping Brett in my peripheral vision. My skin prickles with anxiety, and I fight the urge to run. Not this time, I remind myself. The phrase becomes a beat in my mind, matching my racing pulse. Not this time. After about 10 minutes, I see my opening. Brett stands up with a couple of his buddies, Zach and another football player, and heads toward the food line, which means he'll pass right by me both going and coming back. Perfect. I wipe my sweaty palms on my jeans and double-check that the thermos cap is loosened for quick action. My heart hammers against my ribs as I slide my backpack off one shoulder and reach inside for my weapon. This is it. Every muscle in my body is taut, coiled like a spring. Brett is walking back from the line, a burger on his tray, laughing at something Zach said. They're a few steps from me, 2 steps. 1. I surge up from my seat so abruptly that my chair screeches. Brett's eyes flick toward me, caught by the sudden movement. For a split second, confusion crosses his face. He recognizes me, but he definitely doesn't expect what's coming. With a guttural yell that's been building in my chest for days, I yank the thermos out and swing. Time seems to slow as I append the contents over Brett's head. A torrent of chunky, yellow-white liquid rains down on him. It's far worse than regular milk. This stuff is vile. The stench hits immediately, an eye-watering odor of rot and sour curd that engulfs us. Clumps of spoiled milk and curdled globs splatter through the air. The effect is instantaneous. What the? Brett screams, stumbling backward as the rancid deluge soaks his face, his hair, his shoulders. His tray clatters to the floor, burger and fries flying. For one frozen heartbeat, the entire cafeteria falls silent, students processing the shock of what they just witnessed. I hear the milk splattering on the tiles like heavy rain. Brett stands drenched in disgusting milky goo, mouth agape in disbelief. A thick glob slides down the side of his nose. The smell around us is horrendous. A few nearby kids gag dramatically, and others recoil with shrieks of "you." Then the cafeteria explodes into chaos. A chorus of gasps, shouts, and laughter rises up like a tidal wave. "Oh my God," someone yells. Another voice cackles, "No way. Did you see that?" Phones are whipping out. Dozens of students are now filming the scene. For once, though, I'm not the one cowering from the cameras. I'm still holding the thermos, chest heaving. Part of me can't believe I actually did it. But the sight in front of me is very real. Brett Hinson, the Almighty, covered head to toe in putrid milk chunks, retching and cursing as he tries to wipe his eyes clear. Zach staggers back from his friend, swearing loudly. "What the hell, Alex?" He stares at me with a mix of shock and fury, but I notice he doesn't rush toward me. Maybe he's too stunned, or maybe he doesn't want any of this filth on himself. Brett sputters, blinking sour milk out of his eyes. His face is turning a splotchy red. Whether from rage or embarrassment, I can't tell. He finally locks eyes with me, and in them I see exactly what I hoped for, a flicker of pure shock, maybe even fear. He's not in control now. He's the one on the receiving end, and he looks utterly lost. You little shit," he chokes out, voice shaking with fury. He swipes a gooey hand over his face and lurches toward me, murder in his eyes. He's fast, but anger makes him clumsy. I sidestep as he lunges, and his sneaker skids in the puddle of spoiled milk at his feet. With a slick smack, Brett's feet shoot out from under him, and he crashes onto his back, right in the middle of the stinking mess. A roar of shocked laughter explodes from the onlookers. I hear someone scream with laughter. Brett ate it. Holy! The entire cafeteria is losing it. The bully king just face-planted in the filth of his own humiliation. Everything is happening so quickly, yet my awareness is crystal clear. Every detail etched in my mind. I step forward and look down at him. He's propped on his elbows, eyes wide and body dripping with foul white slop. The scent is overpowering. I don't envy him at all in that moment. I lean down slightly, adrenaline pounding in my ears. Amid the chaos, the laughter, the phone's recording, the exclamations, I meet Brett's gaze, now on the verge of panic. My voice comes out low and steady, meant for him alone. "Drink it, loser." His eyes bulge, and for an instant, I relish the pure incredulity on his face. How the tables have turned. Before he can react, strong arms seize me from behind and yank me backward. "Hey, break it up. Enough. Coach Harris." He moves in fast, pulling me away from Brett. Ms. Lopez, another teacher, rushes over too, kneeling to help Brett up despite recoiling at the smell. Brett is a wreck. As Ms. Lopez grabs his arm, he slips and scrambles, finally gaining his footing. Sour milk cascades off him in streams. A disgusting glob of it plops onto the floor from his hair. He looks wildly around at the crowd of students, many of whom are cheering or laughing. A few, to be fair, look horrified or in shock. But plenty are plainly enjoying this. Brett's face contorts in a mix of humiliation and blind rage. He opens his mouth, but nothing comes out except a gag as he spits out a curd that had gotten in his mouth. The mighty Brett has no snappy comeback now. Coach Harris positions himself between us, one hand firmly on my shoulder. "Everybody, back to your seats," he commands the room, voice stern. Show's over. Slowly, very reluctantly, the spectators start to comply, though the room buzzes with frantic whispering and suppressed giggles. Zach hovers near Brett, not sure what to do. He reaches out as if to help steady Brett, then grimaces as Brett's arm leaves a smear of slime on his hand. Ah, gross, man, Zach mutters, stepping back. Ms. Lopez is escorting Brett toward the door. He's too busy wiping at his eyes and face to protest, but as they pass me, he turns his head, fixing me with a hateful glare. You're dead, Alex, he snarls hoarsely. It might have been more intimidating if he weren't dripping smelly goop onto the floor. Coach Harris doesn't let me go. He's breathing hard, looking both furious and astonished. Alex, what were you thinking? He asks under his breath, incredulous. I don't answer. I can't. I'm still shaking, adrenaline coursing through me like fire. My eyes follow Brett as he disappears through the cafeteria doors, leaving a trail of sour milk droplets in his wake. He looked scared. He looked human. I realize my lips are twitching in what might almost be a grin. I quickly wipe it off my face and stare down at the floor. Coach Harris is still waiting for an answer, but I just shrug weakly. He sighs and shakes his head. Come on. Principal's office. Let's go. As Coach guides me out, I notice dozens of eyes on me. Not mocking. Not pitying. Just astonished. And, in some of them, I dare say impressed. A few kids discreetly give me thumbs-ups or little nods of respect. I even catch the girl from history, Jenna, watching with a half-smile, her face a mix of shock and admiration. I walk out of the cafeteria under escort, hands still trembling, heart still thundering. Whatever happens next, detention, suspension, the wrath of authority, I know one thing. I don't regret it one bit. On Monday, I returned to school after serving a brief suspension for my stunt, a punishment I can easily live with. Word around the halls is that Brett got a far harsher consequence, and I suspect he won't show his face here for a while. Walking through the corridors, I notice the usual stares and whispers, but this time they don't cut me down. If anything, there's a newfound respect in some of those eyes. I square my shoulders and keep my head up. In the cafeteria, conversations lull as I approach, then pick up in excited murmurs. I hesitate only a moment before stepping fully inside. I'm not scared of this place anymore. As I scan for a seat, a voice calls out, Alex. Over here. It's the same girl who tried to help me that awful day, Jenna from history class, smiling and waving me over to her table. A couple of others there glance my way with friendly curiosity. For a heartbeat, I'm stunned by the open invitation. Then I smile back, a real, genuine smile, and join them. Sliding onto the bench, I feel the last of my fear melt away. You okay? Jenna asks softly as I unpack my lunch. I think about it for a moment. Things aren't perfect, not by a long shot. But the worst is behind me, and I stood up for myself when it mattered. Yeah, I say, meeting her eyes confidently. I'm okay. As easy chatter breaks out around the table and I take the first bite of my sandwich, I realize it tastes better than it has in a long time. It tastes like victory.